Good morning, everybody. Please share, subscribe, like, but mainly share. This story needs to be gotten out there. Now, if you all will remember, I did a story last month, I believe it was, right after this happened to Ethan Belcher. He is a 5-year-old that lived in Detroit, and his mother, Valerie Hamilton, and stepfather, Shane Shelton, unalived this baby and abused his younger brother. That happened on January the 22nd, 2022. Now, his two aunts, Ashley Belcher and Candace Belcher Rush, had to make the trip from Bristol, Tennessee to Michigan, to Detroit, to deal with the horror nightmare that was awaiting them. Now, just to put out there, Ethan is still laying in the Wayne County morgue in Michigan. They have still not released his little body for them to have a funeral or a memorial, anything. Ethan is such a precious boy. Now, in my earlier video, I did sort of give his aunt a little bit of a hard time, and I have profusely apologized to her for that. We have talked, we've shared information. She has let me know so much more about what was going on. And later today at 12 noon, her and her sister Ashley are going to be on my live, or at least Candace is going to be on my live, and we're going to try to get the word out. Hashtag justice for Ethan B. There is a bill. They have got a senator on their side, and they are taking a bill to the House to get it passed so that CPS can no longer hold information when it comes to children who are being hurt and damaged and tortured. Like the senator, and I'm going to later today, I will play the clip that the senator is saying that police, sheriff's departments, all of those, they're not allowed to have secrecy about what goes on. Different agencies are not allowed to have secrecy. They're not allowed to keep the information that is going on private. So why should CPS? CPS needs to have someone who they answer to. CPS placed this baby and his siblings back in the home more than once when they shouldn't have. You'll find out more about that in the live today. So please make sure and join us in the live and see what Candace has to say, and Ashley as well. But right now I'm going to read this. This is written by Kara Berg, the Detroit News, published at 2:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, January 30th, 2023. Updated January 30th, 2023. It says, Ethan Belcher's family had called Child Protective Services more than a dozen times during his short life. Two of his aunts said, with one of them saying Belcher went through pure torture during the past few years before he passed earlier this month. 5-year-old boy was found unalive January 22nd in a Detroit house his Aunt Candace Rush dubbed the House of Horrors. His mother, Valerie Hamilton, and stepfather, Shane Shelton, were charged with unaliving, torture, and child abuse in connection with Ethan's death and the alleged abuse of his 3-year-old brother. Wayne County Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Matthew Makepeace said last week during Shelton and Hamilton's arraignments that other kids in the home told investigators Shelton and Hamilton would beat them and force them to remain in the basement of a house which was filled with sewage, water, and feces. Makepeace said calling the dwelling a house of generous and described it as somewhere between an abandoned home and a construction site. At the time of his death, Ethan had bruises in the shape of loops on his body, indicating an object like a cord was used to make the marks, and multiple abrasions. Makepeace said one of his toes had gangrene and was rotting and black. He said his aunt, Ashley Belcher, said this was from frostbite. The 3-year-old had frostbite toes as well, she said. This wasn't the first time Ethan had been hurt. Rush and Belcher said they first called CPS sometime before Ethan turned 2. Rush said he was so skinny when relatives saw him they could count every rib, she said, but CPS told them he was not malnourished. In 2021, Ashley Belcher said she took the boy to the hospital when Hamilton's mother brought him to her, beaten from head to toe. He had welts all over his head. His eyes were swollen and almost split open. His hands were swollen and he was bruised across his ribs, legs, and buttocks, she said, so much he could hardly sit. Ethan was a precious baby boy, and he did not deserve to go through what he went through, which was pure torture, Belcher said. Lincoln Park police investigated and sent a warrant request for a child abuse charge to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office in October 2021. Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Maria Miller said prosecutors returned the warrant to police in February 2022 and asked them to conduct further investigation. The request never went any further. Lincoln Park Police did not respond to a request for comment, but Chief Raymond Waters told Fox 2 that Ethan suffered minor injuries in 2021 and prosecutors denied the warrant request. Miller said prosecutors never denied the request. They failed him too, Belcher said, of Lincoln Park Police's involvement. They just ignored it and swept it under the rug. Every time family members tried to protect the kids, Ashley Belcher said CPS would hand them right back to their parents. Rush said the kids were taken from Hamilton and Shelton at least twice, Belcher said. Shelton's sister told her she called CPS 8 times, but did not have Shelton's address, so her complaints were ignored. Michigan Department of Health and Human Services spokesperson Bob Wheaton said he could not comment on CPS cases because of the state law. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services was extremely saddened to hear about Ethan Belcher's death, and the department expresses its condolences to his loved ones. Wheaton said in a statement that the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services will continue to work daily with law enforcement community partners and others on prevention services. The things her 6-year-old nephew, Ethan's older brother, who is now living with her, has told her gives her nightmares, Ashley Belcher said. The boy told her Shelton busted his head open with a pipe and didn't take him to the hospital, she said. When she checked his head, she could see a deep scar. She already has him scheduled for a CT scan to make sure he is okay. The 6-year-old was close to Ethan. They were born on the same day, a year apart. She said, he's adjusting to her home, but is struggling without Ethan, she said. He doesn't understand what happened, but Belcher said he showed her how Ethan was positioned when he passed and told her how he looked. She's scared he's going to have nightmares about the abuse. I can't imagine the 6-year-old watching them do that to him. Belcher said he was in the house the whole time. Belcher said Ethan was a sweet, loving child. He loved to be around his brothers and loved the park. He just really wanted to be loved, Belcher said. He didn't seem to understand what love was when Belcher showed him with hugs and kisses when she found so sad. I kind of almost knew this would happen, Belcher said. It's sad I couldn't save him. Rush is determined not to let Ethan's passing be in vain. She wants the state to pass laws so children will be better protected in their homes, especially if there are prior CPS complaints. I hate that my nephew has to be a name to be used to save other kids, Rush said. Ethan's family started a GoFundMe page to raise money for his funeral expenses. Guys, this is just unacceptable. And I applaud these ladies and the senator that is backing them when it comes to getting this bill passed, and hopefully if we can get it passed in Michigan, we can get it passed all over the United States so that CPS can't hide behind, oh, it's a state law, it's a federal law. We can't tell you anything, so that when other children are being abused, there are other complaints. Hopefully the CPS has to answer to what's going on and can't just sweep stuff under the rug and pretend like it doesn't happen or it isn't happening. Guys, justice for Ethan B. Please share the hashtag. Hashtag justice for Ethan B. Please get it out there. We can't save him, but we can possibly save another child, if not many more children. Help them get the word out. Help them get this bill passed. Help them get justice for Ethan. I'll see you on the next video.